Friday is Dan Patch Night at Harrah's Hoosier Park. It's going to be a great night of racing. And one of the things they have on the card, well, one of the things we have for you first is free PPs and a 5% rebate. You want to click on that QR code and get right off to DRF bets or DRF.com. Check out those PPs. Before Matt and I talk about the $30,000 guaranteed pick four that starts in race 12 on Friday night. It ends in the 15th race. It's one of a few guarantees on the card. They also have a $10,000 guarantee in the opener, which starts at 6:15 p.m. We'll talk about the pick four right now. Let's look at race number 12. It starts off with the John Schuster Memorial. And Matt, we have a full field of 11 and lots of full fields in this sequence.
Yeah, I was going to say we have full fields in all four of these races, and a couple of trailers also. More than one trailer in a couple of these races, so it makes it kind of interesting. This is a pretty wide open race. It's hard to deny that. I ended up going four deep in what is basically, these are overnight horses in one of their mini series, the John Schuster Memorial Final. I went four deep. I used a 3, 5, 7, 10. Listen, Better Than Spring is a class horse. Mock David is a sharp horse who won the elimination, you could say, of this. Actually, I believe Henry the Horse is coming from a top barn, Jay Hostetler. The 10, Brett Miller, Jeff Culliper, a winner in his last. And basically, I'm just trying to navigate this bulky field with logical horses to get by.
I agree with you as well. I think this is a wide open race. I went five deep here with the 2 Away We Go, who was parked out and his escort stopped in front of him, had to go wide, pretty steady mile. Mock David, who I don't love because he had a perfect trip last time. He's going to get bet heavy here. And, so I'm using him because he won, but not thrilled. Working on a Mystery is a really class horse. He was parked every step last time. Maybe I could see this horse gunning out this week, and taking a shot. Watching Our Coin N was uncovered last time as the favorite. Certainly, looking at that horse maybe to step up this week, even though he has post 9. And Big Wheels A, he was really good last time in winning. The only thing that concerns me is now he's stuck in the second tier. And not only is he in the second tier, he's like in the buried spot in the second tier to the inside of another horse and behind the one.
Yeah, but still, like we said, it's going to come down to trip. You mentioned using Mock David, but you're not in love with him. But I don't see any heavy favorite in this race whatsoever, and I feel a lot of the money is going to be spread around. So I guess join the club and spread because there are races going forward with keys and narrow down races. So we're both going deep in this race and trying to move along.
Absolutely. We're going to move along to race number 13. It's the $300,000 Dan Patch Stakes, and we got a field of 10. It didn't necessarily attract the best of the best in this division, but it's a very, very competitive field, Matt.
Oh, yeah. Year in and year out, this race is always a well-attended, well-bet, and usually exciting affair. And I don't expect this year to be any different. But yeah, what it lacks maybe in star quality, it still makes up for competitiveness and talent. And, it's an interesting mix. We have local horses, there's some 4-year-olds. We have horses we saw last week at the Meadowlands, namely Rock and Roll Runa. Charlie May is probably the most notable name in here, and he can still bring it. So, yeah, it should be a very fun race.
The morning line favorite on the card is a local horse, Buzzsaw Russ. He's been doing pretty well in the open class here, and we're going to take a look at him winning last time, and finishing second behind him is Coach Stefanos, who went and won the open the following week, Matt.
Yeah, like I said, these are these are the solid. This is the solid maybe king of the opens you could say right now. Currently at Hoosier, 4-year-old, and you see him just drawn away from this field. But obviously he's going to meet a slightly tougher. Slightly tougher field here, where he's probably going to have to bring it and possibly bring a lifetime mark to repeat. At 5-2 in the morning line, and you can make the case he deserves to be the favorite. I'm not going to use him. I'm going to go with 3 other horses. I like Rock and Roll Runa. We saw him win at 60-something to 1 at the Meadowlands, flying up the rail. But I've seen this horse race a ton at Yonkers and up at Saratoga. He can handle any trip. I think any track surface. It wouldn't shock me at all to see him repeat. I mean, I know, not got 60-1. Charlie May really needs no introduction. He's been racing fine. Hasn't really had a signature win yet, you could say, this season. And I threw Duncan in. We know this is the horse that I believe the nation's winningest horse last year's 3-year-old. He's come back. He's made over 200 grand already, racing mostly at Yonkers for Northfield connections and Nick and Betty Clegg. They sent him out to Yonkers. He was in the Borgata series. He made the final. He got a check in the final. It's weird. He has kind of a braking problem, which he just throws in these steps once in a while. When he minds his manners, I think he's as talented as anyone out there.
Well, let's start with the one horse we have common on our tickets, and that's Charlie May. He's 12-1 on the morning line, Matt. There's no way we're getting more than 5-1, is there?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He takes money based on name recognition. Even if he's not going well, and he hasn't won a race this year, he's still going to take money, and deservedly so. He tends to step up when you least expect it, and yeah, I think there will be a stronger expectation of forward progress, you could say, in this race. And I think, if you're using a multiple horses, you almost have to use them. That's the way I feel.
Well, he finished second in this race last year from post 10. He's back in post 10 again. The other horse I'm using on my ticket is another 12-1 morning line shot, and that's 7 Colors. And I really like this horse on paper. The only negative I could find here is that driver Dexter Dunn decided not to show up, and Marvin Luna is going to drive, and he's been very good. So I'm not taking anything away from Marvin, but it would have shown a sign of confidence had Dexter been here. But I went back, I watched that replay of the Preferred. It was his first race in a month at the Meadowlands, and he just went around the track. Sat last. There was really not much he can do. It was a really strong field, and he came home with 25 and change. To me, this is a week where we're going to see some early speed, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't see early speed from him, what's going to change from his race last week at the Meadowlands? He's going to be somewhere at the back with no chance. Probably come home with pace. Listen, this guy was a big 3-year-old, and he really hasn't taken the next step yet. Obviously, he can improve off that race last week at the Meadowlands, but I'll be honest, I'm not in love with him from out in this spot. He's got to show me something major for me to maybe even consider him, next starter going forward. But I mean, you'll easily get double digits. So good luck to you, because if you catch him, you'll be rolling in this pick.
Listen, I'm trying to play the morning lines here in this pick 4, and I'm going with 2 12-1s. I'm not saying other horses don't. I think El Rey has a shot in here. Buzzsaw Ross has a shot, but I just don't want a short price. Why not? Wow. Why not now is an interesting horse, because it's going into the Tyler George barn.
Right.
He's the top trainer at the track. I mean, couldn't you see this horse waking up? I mean, we know he's got talent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We saw his first race of the year. He was okay, and then things have really gone downhill since. But yeah, we've seen this barn change angle work in the past, where they wake up first time in the Tyler George barn, and we're especially going to see in the 14th race, where we have a heavy favorite coming out of the Tyler George barn. So yeah, while I did not use him, and I would not be shocked, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also Coach Stefanos is we saw the replay with him finishing second. He won the Open last week here. He's certainly a class horse who can, go with these.
Basically, what's coming down to is we can make a case for all these horses in this race to be competitive, which is something you usually can't often say in a top stakes race. So yeah, I mean, while there shouldn't be a horse lower than 5-2, there really shouldn't be a horse higher than 30-1 in this race. So it should make for a fun event, like it is every year.
No doubt about it. And there's also a $30,000 guaranteed superfecta pool in the Dan Patch. We're going to move on to race number 14. It's the Manly Sturgis. And I think this is the race we're going to spend the least amount of time on, because Angel Hill moved into the Tyler George barn and became an absolute monster. I mean, I looked up and down this field. I'll just give you the stat I saw. None of the horses in this race have won faster than 151, whereas she's won 3 straight races and faster than 50.
I'm familiar with this horse. Seeing her last year at Northfield Park, where she just appeared out of nowhere in a non-101 event and won by like 42 lengths in like 150 and change. It was unbelievable. Soon after that, the Connections Thunder Racing Table paid, I don't know the amount, but they paid a lot of money for her. She went to the Corey Kreiser barn. She's just not, he's one of the leading trainers, as you know, at Northfield. She just didn't function. And finally, I guess they had to make the choice to switch trainers and switch venues. They brought her to Hoosier, and she's been a monster. I mean, just look at those 3 starts. I don't see that changing tonight. So I see her brushing to the front and down the road at a short price. And we both got her. I assume we both have her keyed in our pick.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the only 2 other horses in this race you can consider are the 4 Old JK, who's first time Lasix, and the 10 Flirtin Finera. Both of them are coming out of the Indiana Sire Stakes. And listen, if they're sitting on that one's back, maybe they have a shot, but they still have to get 5 lengths better in order to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna try to be cute or sneaky in this race. I'm gonna go with what looks like a killer on paper and on the track. Hope she minds her manners, which has been a problem in the past, and draw away from these. And hope I move on at 1 to 5 and try to catch up in the finale, which is another wide open race.
Absolutely. Race number 15 is the Myron McHenry. There's a $15,000 guaranteed Hoosier high 5 in the 15th race, and I see this race is wide open. I actually went 6 deep in this race with 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 11. I was having trouble separating them.
Yeah, me too. I ended up going 4 deep. I used the 1 Rocket Russell, top driver, Trace Tetrick, top trainer, Tyler George, the 5 Drunk on a Plane. He kind of, was aggressively handled, made the first move to the front, I guess, when the late racing began and tired last week. He's got some back class. The 7 Blacklist Z-Tam. Another one with class that had really perked up in 2 starts off the Adam Rucker claim. So I kind of like that angle. And Rocket Martier from another top barn, the McCumbers. He was 1 to 5 winning last week, and he can certainly repeat. He obviously won't be that short. So I went 4 deep, 1, 5, 7, 8.
I'll mention just one horse that you didn't mention. That's the 11 Fred and Roz, who's 20 to 1 on the morning line. Last time I went back and watched that replay. He's sitting there, tries to go up the passing lane, kind of ran into the horse in front of him and made a break. I mean, this horse had some pace left, so that start you can just draw a line through. This horse is better maybe than looks off that last start. So one to consider. We're going to take a look at our tickets. We'll put my ticket up on the screen first, and I believe I put in a $30 play here. You could see you know what? I'm taking some chances in the Dan Patch. I really believe in the 2 horses I picked. I don't think they're the only horses that can win that race, but I think Charlie May and 7 Colors have a big shot. They both should be good prices, and they'll provide value to my ticket in a race where other people may spread. $30 ticket. Let's see what Matt did.
Yeah, I kind of scaled down a little bit to $24. The same structure as you with spreading, keying Angel Hill, saying, okay, let's just see her do her thing. And then spreading in the 15th for a $24 play for 50 cents. So it all comes down to basically our key in the 3rd leg and catching, a reasonably priced horse in one of the 2 other legs. It'll pay okay.
Well, if you're going to play this $30,000 guaranteed pick 4, you'll want to do it on DRF bets so you can get a 5% rebate, which is basically across the board. I think it's everything except for show wagers. We have free PPs. You can check it out with the QR code. Until then, good luck at Harrah's Hoosier Park.